Hi everyone, hope you're well. Chris Cowlin here. Now, before we get into it, I'd just like to inform you about a new website selling quality current and retro Spurs jerseys. okjersey.com. They sell all current and retro Tottenham Hotspur shirts in all sizes. They sell the current fan and player versions, as well as the 80s and 90s retro shirts, including my very favourite, the 1991 FA Cup final shirt. You can order very easily from okjersey.com, and if you use the code Chris, you will receive an 8% discount off your final order. You can also use the QR code on the top left of your screen. And by the way, they also have some training wear here and the 25-26 colour special edition jersey.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, where today we're going to be talking about another defeat for Spurs. Fulham 2, Tottenham Hotspur 1. We are live on YouTube, Facebook and X, so please do, as always, get involved and let us know how you're feeling right now. As a Tottenham Hotspur fan, you're probably feeling exactly the same as us. Another defeat, so let's just delve into the match facts and stats for a moment if we must. Apologies for this, but we have to go through it. Fulham 54, just over 54% possession of Spurs, nearly 46. XG for Fulham of 2.14, 0.88 for Spurs. 18 shots by Fulham, 13 for Tottenham. 4 on target for Fulham, just the 1 for Spurs. Total touches inside the opposition box, 34 for Fulham, 29 for Tottenham. Didn't seem that many, to be honest with you. 0 goalkeeper saves for Fulham. 2 for Spurs. Aerial duels 1, 20-13. Fouls committed, Fulham 11, Spurs 14. 5 corners for Fulham and 8 for Spurs. And just having a look at the bottom there, the distance covered in kilometres. Spurs distance 116. That's actually up on previous week, so at least they were definitely doing more running today. I suppose that's a blessing, a small blessing. Guys, hello. Thank you for coming on. Dark times again. Ricky Norwood's back with us. How are you, Rick?
Oh mate, dejected, fuming. Oh mate, I'm all over the place today. All over the place. Let's see where we go. But always, as always an honor and a pleasure to be on with you, beautiful gentlemen, and all you beautiful people from around the world. Get in the comments. Let us know how you're doing as well, because I don't know where we're going to go today.
No, quite. And Darren Altman's back with us. Darren, how are you?
I'm in a really bad mood. I'm really upset. I'm angry. I'm upset. I'm despondent. I just don't know. I just don't know where we're going to go. I just don't know where the goals are coming from. I genuinely don't know where the points are coming from. There seems to be a narrative that says Spurs aren't going down. Everyone below us is worse than us. You know, we're too good to go down. We're not too good to go down, and we've showed it today. I'm really upset, Craig. Really upset.
Yeah, I certainly know the feeling. And Tim is back with us. How are you?
Same as the other boys, really. Yeah, don't know where this is going to go. It's probably the worst I've known since I've started supporting Spurs, and that was including a relegation season in the 70s. This is just dross, really. Sucking the joy out of the game. The joy out of the game. And I think that's how it feels to me in general. It's not that actually I'm the opposite to maybe Darren. I'm not angry. I'm just lethargic about the whole thing. It's like, again, really.
Yeah, it is. It's like that, isn't it? It is. Look, just before we get into it, just a bit of news about the charity event Chris and I are doing the next month. It's this month. Oh my God. Got 18 days before this. So it's just a minute just previewing what we're going to be doing.
Hi everyone, hope you're well. Chris Cowlin here. Now myself and channel regular Craig Dearman will be supporting the London Ambulance charity by taking part in the big stadium ab sale on the 19th of March 2026. Now, I've got to say, I actually did the Skywalk a couple of years ago, and this was a big thing for me because I am not that fond of heights, and neither is Craig, to be honest. But this time is going to be completely different because we are both abseiling down the side of the South Stand, and we are absolutely petrified. Now, the London Ambulance Service actually approached us to do this to raise as much money as we can for them. I couldn't turn this down because, of course, this place is very close to my heart. Now, we will be descending down 42 metres back to the ground, raising vital funds for life-saving equipment and CPR training across London, as well as supporting well-being initiatives for the dedicated staff. Now, if you can help us and donate anything you can, the link is on the screen now. It is www.justgiving.com/page/Tottenham Stadium, and your support is always really, really appreciated. Now, if you'd actually like to get involved and join Craig and I on the 19th of March at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium by taking part in the Skywalk and abseiling down the side of the South Stand, it would be great to see you there cheering us on, and we can also cheer you on as well. But get involved, visit the London Ambulance website for all of the details, and thank you so much for all of your incredible support.
Yeah, and Jake's asked in the comments if this is going to be recorded and uploaded. We're going to try. If we're allowed to, we will do it, and you will see the look of sheer terror on our faces, probably about the same amount of terror as watching Tottenham Hotspur at the moment, to be honest with you. Without further ado, Ricky, what are your thoughts on that game today?
Well, my first thought is, Craig, listen, no heavy meals, all right? Before the abseiling, no heavy meals, okay? The both of you, all right? Soup, you want soup, and you want beans on toast. That's it. That's all you need, all right?
I'm going to be out of eat. I'm not going to be out of eat.
Ricky, his arsehole's going to be going enough as it is without beans.
You never... Okay, all right. Well, at least we got a laugh in. Goodness, because wowza. All right, so okay, let's get back to business. The game, my goodness. Wowza. So I was a bit despondent with the lineup to begin with. Gallagher being out on the right, no Spence. I was like, Archie Gray out on the left. I was like, oh my goodness, what we're gonna go? What's gonna happen here? And within the 2 minutes, Craig, I had the sense that it wasn't gonna be our day again. The boys were nervous. They were in the shell. Like there was a lot of running, like you say, but like we couldn't get hold of the ball again. We couldn't get anything going. There was gaps in the middle, left, right, and centre. And up until we scored, I really did. I was fuming. I was angry. And I really did believe that this is it, man. I'm actually going to see my team go down here. Do you know what I mean? And it's not something I want to say. It's not something I want to put out there. I don't even like that energy. But at that point, I was like, my goodness. If we can't get up and we can't fight at this moment in time, then when is it gonna happen? I mean, how many results have to go for us this weekend for us not to take the opportunity and not to build on it and not to give us a little gap, a little push, a little enthusiasm in this fight? And it was so bad, bro. The ref wasn't helping as well. It started within the first 2 or 3 minutes when Colomawani went on a run and his shirt was getting dragged for at least 20 seconds and there was nothing. And then about 10 minutes later, he literally just kind of pings the Fulham boy's shirt and it was a free kick. And there was moments like that were just going against us. And you know what, when you're in that position in the league and when you're in that fight mode, like all of those little things really matter and they really stack up. I don't expect anything off of a ref. We know what's going on. You look at that first goal that we conceded today, 2 hands on the back, yada, yada, yada. But yes, it's a goal this week. Whereas last week, Colo hardly touches the Gooner. And do you know what I mean? It's not a goal. These things are going against us and it's piling up and it's hitting us in our gut because of where we are and we're not getting nothing going for us. No football, no decisions, no nothing. But the one positive, the one thing that we have to cling to is those substitutes that came on today, including Sousa. Sousa, first and foremost, he just gave us balance. He's been in a relegation scrap himself in Brazil, so there's some experience there. He's fighting for the shirt. He's fighting for a place. So, and he's just got to England. So, yes, it's a risk, but he did give us some balance out there straight away. Tell was unbelievable. I can't believe that Tell has not started more games. Every single time he's played, he might have a few shots over the bar, but at least he's had a shot, or he makes something happen, or he will try and get across in there. His corners are normally on point as well. Richie being a menace when he came on. So there is fight in the team, and I did see some. And Porro playing 90 minutes after coming back from injury as well. So it was going to take him a little bit of time, but you could see the fight in him. We looked a different side with Danzo in there as well. Dragson, I know he's come back from injury. I know there's a lot that's happened with him, but Danzo he looks levels above as a Premier League defender. So these players are coming back. There was a reaction in the second half, but it's just another loss, man, and it's just another punch in the gut. Is it false hope? I don't know, because those boys look dejected at the end. They look heartbroken at the end. I don't know how we get up. I don't know how we carry on, but somebody's got to grab the boys by the scruff of the neck and really do something here. Because we're in dire straits right now, man, and we're in really troublesome times. So I needed to see something from Tottenham, and I'm happy that when we had those subs on, that we did see a change. That we did see a reaction. We do have a ton of problems that we've had all season. One being the lack of confidence. One being the just sheer amount of football that they haven't played. Then they get the ball and they try and make it, and then it doesn't come off, and then it's just like so. Tudor's got a lot on his plate. These boys have got a hell of a lot on their plate, but we did see fighters in there in that second half, and I needed to see that. I needed to see some fight. I needed to see some reaction. And I needed to see some grit and determination. I needed to see some forward football. And it was great. And these boys have to start. These boys that are in form, they have to start. And I don't care who doesn't start. But the boys that are playing for the shirt, they have to be in there. I mean, Sarr, when he came on, wherever he played, he puts in a shift. Gray, bless him. My goodness, he played in about 7 positions today. And was up for the fight. So these players that are up for the fight, we need them more. And we need to continue playing them. This league battle, forget the Champions League right now, but it's all about this league battle. And I'm stressed and I'm worried. And I don't know where we're going to get our next win, but at least I saw a bit of fight. It's dire straits right now. And we got to get going.
Certainly have. I nearly said Thomas Frank then. Igor Tudor said in the press conference, it's a complicated situation, a lot of problems. I cannot tell you nothing new. We need to find the voices inside each of us. I said to the players, it's always what you're going to do, what you want to do with yourself, more personality, more wish to do before reacting. Plenty of things, and a lot of things we lack when we attack. We are lacking the quality to score the goal. We are lacking in the middle to run, and we are lacking behind to stay there to suffer and not concede the goal. So an amazing situation, amazing. That's he's quite honest, Darren, isn't he, Igor Tudor? But give us your thoughts on the game, and do you feel a bit for Igor Tudor because he's come into this crappy situation? The club have obviously gone out and got him. He wouldn't have been, I don't think, a lot of us his first choice, but you got to get behind the manager. And because I just do feel sorry for him for what he's inherited and what he's got to do in a very short space of time. And, we've chatted on here that a lot of us would have preferred somebody linked to Spurs to take over the job for the last 12 games. I think that would have been a safer choice. But where do you stand on the whole situation?
I didn't know of the guy, and I was frantically researching him and finding out information on him. I didn't know him. And then, the more you sort of looked, the term firefighter was used, and he's saved clubs from relegation, and he's brought clubs up to European point positions level. So I thought, well, I don't know this guy, but he's there for a reason, so give him a chance. And I do feel sorry for him because we are absolutely bum bare at the moment. I mean, if you thought our injury, crisis was bad under Ange, this is dreadful. I mean, it's dreadful. I do feel sorry for him. I don't think he's got a lot to work with. Spence was out, and it's like, oh, for God's sake. I do feel sorry for him. Does he know these players well enough to get a tune out of them? He hasn't managed in the Premier League. Has he been following Tottenham? Does he know Tottenham? I don't know. I mean, you're right. Someone like, I don't know, pick a name, Harry Redknapp, Robbie, whoever. You know, at least they know Tottenham, they know the players, and they know the positions. To have Tell on the left and not as I thought we bought him as a number 10, as a sort of creative playmaking midfielder where he's been doing his best work this season. To play him out on the left and to leave Tell on the bench. Sorry, I'm talking about Simmons. Did I say Tell or Simmons?
Tell, didn't you?
Tell. Yeah. Sorry, I meant Simmons. I'm talking about Xavi Simmons. To play Simmons on the left and to have Tell on the bench, I didn't understand that. And then he dragged Simmons off. I want to see him in the centre, like creating and being our creative, because we didn't have anything today. It was very, very frustrating. I mean, I could carry on and name names. I didn't think Solanke did anything today. Kolo Muani was just bullied for the whole of the game. Kept on looking around at the ref. Hold on, I've got to turn a program here. He kept on looking round at the ref all game, like wanting decisions because he was bullied. In answer to your question, I do feel sorry for this guy. I do feel sorry. He hasn't got a lot to work with. I don't think he knows the players at the moment, and it's all a really big worry. It's all a very, very big worry, mate.
Yeah. Tim, how are you feeling about today's loss?
I think as soon as I saw the lineup, I think like most people, I was scratching my head and going, what the hell's going on? And I know Xavi's had some heat, but he's a number 10. He should be. He play every time he plays out on the wide. He doesn't do anything because he's not a wide player. Kolo Muani was getting bullied all day and illegally many times, but why not stick Dom up front, who's used to getting bullied and bullied back? He just seemed to have that the wrong way around as well. There were so many players out of position that it felt totally disjointed. I mean, Gray in the second half, I thought was great. As soon as he went to his actual position in midfield, he was passing the ball around, giving it to the wide players who should be there, Sousa and Tell, and we looked sort of half decent and scored a goal. But the first half, we were so disjointed, so all over the place. You know, he'd set up to defend, yet there still was acres of space for them to go into. I couldn't understand it. There was easy 1-2s that, you know, they teach you when you're 12, 13 to track back, and we didn't, and we let them have it. They should have been so far out of sight in that first half, at least 3 or 4 up. And then, you know, in the second half, lucky Vic saves that one because that would have definitely been game over. We had nowhere to go. And although we were better in the second half, there was a lot of, you know, Division 1, hoof the ball up, and hopefully someone will snick it on and someone will pinch it. None of that went anywhere. None of that went anywhere, that flicking on. It wasn't till we got the ball on the floor and started playing that we actually did anything, really. It was, I tell you what, watching Tottenham moments like watching my children's school play. It's mostly horribly disappointing, very dull, uninspiring, unprofessional, with moments of comedy, highlight for about 30 seconds, and everyone leaves muttering about how shit it was, but wasn't your one player good? So it's, for me, that's Tottenham at the moment. Thank you. I'm trying to get a laugh today.
You're so right. You're so right.
It definitely feels like that. That's how I feel about it. That's walking out of a sort of 10-year-old school play going, oh, fuck's sake, man. Really have to get through that. And it's, well, in the end, it's something you feel you've got to do rather than something you want to do. And that's 100%. How I feel about all these performances. It feels like something I've got to watch rather than something I want to watch, with the odd inspiration thrown in, normally from one of the younger kids who's actually trying to do something inspirational, right?
Yeah, you're right. Well, as Kevin says in the chat now, there are 4 points from 30 possible at the moment. And let's just show you the Premier League table as if you didn't know. Actually, we're down the bottom, aren't we? Of course we are. It's lucky, really, if you see this column on the right-hand side, all the teams in and around us lost. So, yes, we missed a chance to climb a bit up the table today, but it could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot worse. And, you know, we have to start picking up points now because these games are coming, well, I wouldn't say they're coming thick and fast, but the next one certainly is on Thursday. And for me, I don't know how you feel about this, Rick. I know we'll come on to it later, but this Palace game seems like a huge game, doesn't it? Thursday.
Every game is a huge game, but right now you're absolutely right. You know, in the position that we're in, we've got 10 games left now. We are in it whether we like it or not. And yes, I saw those boys heartbroken at the end, and they looked defeated at the end. You know, all of them were super disappointed. So that says to me that they are hurting. A lot of people, a lot of fans that I've heard, and I get it, because we're lashing out at any angle we can. We're trying to look for blame, and we're trying to look for reasons why this is happening to us right now. But this Palace game now, we've got to take that fight. And I know, like I say, that they look heartbroken and they look dejected. But that fight at the end, that those that came on and made a difference, those guys have to start now. And those, you know, we've got to build on something. We've got to build on some of the good that we've had. And look, there's a lot of gaps in the team. There's a lot of frailty in the team. But we've got to build on what went in the right direction. I want Tell to start on Thursday.
That's a good point, Rick. Sorry to jump in. Surely, for me, Tell has to start on 100%. Thursday, and probably Sousa as well, I would argue, and Richarlison. Actually, I thought he say what you want about Richarlison. I know we've given him a bit of stick on this channel in the past, but he came on and actually showed what you need in a relegation fight. You know what you're going to get from Richarlison. You know he's going to put in a shift for you. He's not the most talented footballer, but he scored again today. We need players like that at the moment, don't we?
And the one thing with Richarlison is that he's got experience in a relegation fight coming from Everton. So he knows what it's about when it's all on the line. He creates chaos. He looks like he cares. When I see them heartbroken, it looks like he cares. When I see some of the fans coming out, like that's what I was saying earlier, sorry, that some of these players are looking for a move or they're down tools. No, they're devoid of confidence. They're frail. They're scared. They're nervous of making a mistake. And that's what we saw in that first half. But at the end of the game, you saw them feel it inside. Do you know what I mean? You saw their heads down. So I know it's going to take a lot, boys, for you to pick your head up. But there was something to build on. There was something that we can hold on to that we saw in those last, you know, however many, that last half hour. Once we got that goal, there was a bit of fight. There was a bit of belief. We kept going. We kept going until the last possible second. We got corner after corner then. You know, we was getting attacks. They were bringing on substitutes to you know, waste out the time a little bit. We did push. Some of even Vicario pushed up into the box right at the end to try and make something happen. So that it is there. It is there. I think they've just been, they're battered and bruised. I think they're battered and bruised by this whole situation. And it's slapped them in the face again today when they done some good things and they believe that maybe some of the decisions should have gone their way. There was a point where Paulinho got flattened today and we got nothing. In fact, it went the other way. So there's all of this kind of injustice built into the boys, and it builds up. But we did see something in that second half. That's all I can say. That's all I can hold on to. I have to hold on to that. You might call me delusional. I've said it many a time that I'm delusional about my team, but it's the only thing that I can hold on to see us going forward in this battle. We've got 10 games left. Every single one of these games are massively important, starting with Palace, who again, who have been in a flux of form. I don't want us to be Dr. Tottenham again. Do you know what I mean? Please, you know, we've got to go in there with those that we're playing, with those fighters like Richie, like Tell. You know, let's get the ball into Dominic. Let's whoever that midfield may be and whatever that formation he goes with, let it support the ones that were looking to play and were up for that fight, because that's what we need more than any system or any style of play. We need those that are willing to leave it all out there and kind of fight for not only each other, but for every single point that we can muster.
Yeah, and performances, as we've said, don't really matter. It would be nice to see a performance, but we just need points on the board. We need points on the board right now, that's for sure. Darren, let's come around to you. Let's have a look at the starting lineup today. Vicario in goal. I do hate this bloody number order. Although it's not actually, is it? It's not actually. Anyway, let's go through it. Vicario, Dragushin, Paulinho, Javi, Bissouma, Gray, Solanke, Gallagher, Pedro Porro, Van der Ven and Kolomuani. What did you make of that lineup when it came out?
Well, I'm surprised that the balance was wrong. I mean, we haven't got a Doggy, we haven't got Spence, so he didn't have a left back. I mean, so he put Gray there. As we've discussed, for me, Xavi should have been in the centre, number 10, and have a dedicated left winger such as Tell. Did he have the two strikers? I didn't think Solanke got a look in. He was coming in very deep again. I thought the balance wasn't right, to be honest. For me, I just thought this is why I say, and this call me. I don't want to sound naive, but does he know the players well enough to know that where they're? You know, Gray seems to be a bit of a utility player now. Is he a fullback? Is he a left back? Is he a midfielder? Like, we all know where he performs best, and that's in the midfield, the sort of central, the defensive midfielder role. I don't think Paulinho had a good game. I thought Van der Ven was coming in way too high and making challenges and getting caught out and leaving space behind. I think probably I would have preferred to have seen Danzo than Dragusin, if I'm completely honest. I think Dragusin sort of flatters to deceive a little bit. He tries and he's sort of all over it, but I feel more solid and more secure when I see Danzo in the middle of the defence.
That's a good point, Darren, actually, because I think Mickey van der Ven plays better, certainly better with Christian Romero, but I think he feels more comfortable with Danzo when Romero's not there. I think that's a fair comment.
And as I said, Mickey van der Ven coming high up the pitch, Dragusin coming high up the pitch, wanting to get the ball and leaving space in behind. I mean, can we just very briefly touch on Romero? Shame on him. Shame on him for doing what he did. He's a club captain. He needs discipline. And he's left us, we need solidity. And we've got Dragusin when it should be our central partnership of Kuti and Van der Ven, and shame on him for doing what he did. Is it 4 games? He's missed 2. It's just shame on him.
I think this is the third. Was it the third today, or is it the second one? Third, wasn't it? Yeah. One more.
And again, I do feel sorry for Tudor, because we are absolutely bum bare. We've got no creativity. A lot of players aren't having their best games at the moment. Oh,
I think we have. It's just Javi was lost, like you say, on the left-hand side today. I think, Tim, bring you in on this. We've seen Javi run games, not as many as we'd like, but
can I just say, just very, very quickly, can I ask you a question? Sorry, Tim, excuse me. Instead of pulling Javi, why didn't he move him into the centre and bring Tell on and pull someone else off? Why didn't he just make that positional switch instead of hauling him off?
It's a managerial decision, isn't it? I thought it was a bit strange taking Javi off. I would personally like to see Javi in the 10. I don't think he gives us as much on the wing. I think he looks a bit lost out there sometimes, but that's not his natural position. I want to see him in that 10 role. Tim, did you think that was a bit odd, or was it just purely Tudor didn't think he had the personnel to put Javi in the 10?
Yeah,
I'm not buying it myself.
A little bit of grace, really. He doesn't know the players too well at the moment, but I would have left Xavi on all day long. Back in the games, he's normally really good at kicking the ball around. Rather than just hoofing it, you can play through him a lot more. So it seemed really odd to take him off. As I said, there were so many people playing out of position. Gallagher out of position was absolutely useless. and he has been. He was for Atletico Madrid playing out of position. Seemed a really odd thing to do. But yeah, the only saving grace I'm going is he doesn't know the players too well. We don't know their fitness either. People have got knocks. Danso probably didn't start because he's just coming back from injury. He doesn't want to injure another player. So they're the only kind of saving graces I'm giving Tudor at the moment. But it did feel a bit, as I said at the beginning, felt really odd decisions to make. And with the substitutions, it just felt like, right, let's just chuck up attacking players on and see what happens. Apart from Danso, obviously. And it kind of got a little bit better, but I think from the beginning it felt so disjointed. It just felt it felt like half the team were playing out of position, which I think they were. And it's exactly how it looked in the end. No one particularly knew what they were doing. There was bad touches. I was looking at the match stats. You know, the passing accuracy was pretty low. Shots on target 1. Come on.
That's been like it all season, though, isn't it?
It has, yeah. But even down to corners, there was no variety to them. I think they were all of them were just whipped in under the goalkeeper's nose. There was no this to put some for the front, some to the back. We had a sort of ton of corners, but they all looked exactly the same. And I don't know, that felt like it was, well, that's what he's been told to do. Because previously we knocked a lot to the back post, head and back, and got goals from it, or to the near post and flick on. And there was none of that going on. It felt very Route 1. It was kind of Sam Allardyce special at some points until some of the younger players got their foot on the ball. I'm hoping he's learned and that he's going to start Sousa, he's going to start Tell, he's going to start Simmons where he should be, he's going to start Gray where he should be, have a decent centre. He'll probably play Danso and Mickey, but he's so convinced about his 3 at the back, and one of the problems is it's so barely used in the Premier League, because that's why a lot of the centre backs are rushing out. That the idea is that the spare one rushes out and charges someone. They've still got 2 at the back, but these players haven't played 3 at the back for years, probably, and certainly the English ones haven't. I'm sure the kind of more the foreign ones have, but that takes a lot of drilling and a lot of time. And I'm not sure he's got 10 games to do that. I mean, personally, I'd have said stay classic 4-4-2, and everyone knows exactly where we're at. I don't know, because we're running out of time, right?
Well, yeah, and it's having the personnel to play that 3 at the back anyway, and we haven't at the moment, have we really? And
we haven't got 3 centre backs.
We haven't got 3. No, and even see, I'm not a fan of. I wouldn't be a fan of, and of course we did it the other week, but Paulinho slotting in at centre back, and that's what it is. He's slotting in to just play a system. You play the formation for me with the players that you've got that best suits those.
And you've
players.
lost him in midfield. You've lost
him in midfield.
Player who could have sort of stopped where they were going through, literally right through the middle of us at half the time. This is exactly where Paulinho would have been, just scything players down and just doing what he does. But because he's back and they're not in his natural position, there's no one there to do that. Who did we have in CDM? I can't remember now who was in defensive midfield, but they weren't doing their job very well, whichever, because they were just walking through us. Basuma, well, of course it was Basuma, because they were just walking through us. There was so much space, Tim, like you said. I think you said it. There was just so much space for Fulham today. And again, I do feel a bit for Tudor, because baptism of fire. We started in the North London derby, which let's be honest about it, we was never going to be. We'd have done very well to get something out of that game, and then Fulham today. A ground where we haven't even scored a goal before today in the last 3 times we've been there or something, and not a brilliant record there. So, but we're back at home on Thursday, and that's just going to be a huge game, and we need everybody to be up for it 100%. I suppose Fortress Whiteout Lane.
Yeah, and that's the sad thing, isn't it? When was the last time it was a fortress? It was probably at White Hart Lane in that final season, wasn't it? We didn't lose, and people saying, we should never have gone to the new stadium and built the new stadium. I disagree. I think we needed to do it, but we obviously haven't seen these the things that we were promised with the stadium, which is probably a whole nother podcast about spending money and ENIC putting their hands in their pockets, because clearly they didn't in January. We could go over that, but I think everybody's probably bored of talking about that as well. I suppose we better talk about the game itself and get into the match incidents. I won't go through minute by minute, but there's certainly a few things here we can talk about. First one, Rick, sorry to bring you in on a Fulham goal, but 7 minutes. Wilson scores for Fulham with a volley, two hands in Dragusin's back by Raul Jimenez, but the goal was given. And I would say, before I bring you in, Rick, Igor Tudor, on the first Fulham goal, he said in the press conference he cheated the player pushing Raul Jimenez, and they scored the goal. It's logic. It is cheating, and it is a foul. Was it a foul? I think it was a foul. I think most of us think it was, when you're comparing it to the incidents we all know about from last week, and then the Romero one on Ekatike, or Ekatike on Romero, should I say. It shouldn't have been given, should it?
Bro, do you know what? Sometimes us fans, right, we can be called conspiracy theorists because we'll go, there's an agenda, or the refs against us, or VAR's against us, or... How can it go from last week to this week and be two totally different outcomes that affect the game? Is it just the colour of our shirt? Is it the cockerel on our shirt? Is it the fact that we won that trophy, that European beautiful trophy last year, and we got to smile for a bit that they've all conspired against us to go, you know what? All right, you can't get nothing from now on. You see, it sounds crazy, but you look at things like this and you're just like, what's going on here? If last week, and what was it? Who was it? Gabriel. He hardly got touched last week. He dove and could have got a 9.8 in the Olympics. Do you know what I mean? For the style of dive he did. And yet it goes against us. And then this, a worse scenario, and like you said about the Ekatike one, another worse scenario, but yet it doesn't go our way. And then there were times when, I don't know if you remember that Newcastle game as well, where they gave a penalty against us because Mickey wasn't looking at the ball or something. I don't know, mate. So it does send you crazy, and especially in a season like this, it does send you crazy. But in this passage of play, bro, I think there was a whole scenario that was going on. I can't remember precisely, but there was a whole scenario that was going on with Gallagher down the right. I think, he lost the ball or done something, and then they were on a counter-attack, and then the ball got bounced about, and I think it was Gallagher that headed it backwards into our box, and then it's all bouncy, going crazy, and then they scored. You know what I mean? Another similar goal to the Eze goal last week, where there was gaps and nervousness and hesitation to make a move, and almost the moves that they were making were like last ditch, so panicked, So it was coming. I felt it within the first 2 minutes of how we started. We started that way, and once it went in, personally, my head went down. I was just like, oh no, oh no. But
Rick, can I just take you back to this first image? Let's take you back to this first image, Rick. This is where the push is. I know you can't see it particularly well, so apologies for viewers on audio, listeners on audio. But I think that's Iwobi in the middle, isn't it? Is that Iwobi right in the middle of the box there? The amount of space, though.
Oh yeah, yeah. Bro, but how many times have we seen that as well? Gallagher's looking at the ball there. You've got Pedro looking at the ball there. It's just acres and acres of space. We've seen it so many times, Craig. And this is where we're at. It like you said earlier about the one shot on target or the XG. It's been all season, so it has been drained out of them. And it's taken a minute for them to snap back in to being confident in their play and being confident in their teammate. Everybody's is expecting a mistake right now. But it was good to see a reaction. Like their heads were like, all right, cool, let's go. Let's try and get back in for the moment. But a lot of running at that point, but you know, it didn't get too much better for us after this.
Yeah.
In the first half.
It wasn't an ideal way to start at all, was it? And you're right.
No.
There was certain nervousness. There was just no control of the ball. No controlled play was there. There was times last season, and even certain elements at the beginning of this season, where we looked comfortable on the ball. And I think, Darren, come round to you. We just don't look comfortable on the ball. It's like the players haven't played football before sometimes. What is that? Is that the coaching they've had by Frank, and it's just, they're just so low from that? Is it the case that, you know, they've been, probably from what we're led to believe, they've been let get away with murder? And let's be honest, we've all been in teams where some of the training's not as hard, and the players are never going to ask to work harder, because that's probably not in most people's mindset. What is it? Why are we so bad?
I mean, you said it on our group, Craig, and it's probably, we've just had the Frank out of us. We've been franked, I think, for a whole season. And as Nat, my girlfriend, said, who sits there and watches, puts up with Spurs, endures Spurs. And even she said to me today, you know, excuse my French, she said they should have sacked that fucker before Christmas. And I said, yes, they should have. You know, and she's only a Spurs fan by default because she's with me, you know. I think they've had all the. I think that his style. I say style. I'm doing for those in the audio. I'm doing the air quotes. His style of football has just left them bereft. I think with him, we've had months and months and months of not knowing which way's up, not knowing what the left hand's doing, what the right hand's doing. I mean, there's just been no tactics. It's been side to side to backwards wherever we go. And now they've got this guy who's just trying to make a silk purse out of a pig's ear. And I think you're right. I think that the whole team is deflated. I think that there's been no inspiration. There's been, you know, say what you want about Ange. You know, we were 17th and it was just an all or nothing gung-ho, you know, crap or bust, for want of better expression. You know, all hands, you know, just at least he had an ethos. At least he had a methodology. At least he had a way of playing and a style. Whether you agree with it or disagree with it, he had a style, and he wanted the players to play in a certain way. We've had Thomas Frank, and I don't think he knew what the bleeding hell he wanted. He's gone, and we've got Igor Tudor, who's having to pick up his pieces. I was thinking the other day, when a manager goes and he gets sacked, do you reckon Frank is somewhere thinking, "Oh my God, what have I done?" Like watching the Arsenal game and this game today, thinking, "Oh my God, like this lot could go down. It'll be at my hands." Or do you think he's just off on a beach somewhere, sipping his raspberry daiquiri by a pool, just going, "Well, that, you know, I'll take my few million, thank you very much. Who else is going to come in for me now?" Do you think there's any sense of guilt with him? Because he's left us right in the shit.
There probably is, and there's probably a sense of frustration from Thomas Frank as well that he didn't do what he wanted to do. I mean, nobody comes to Spurs, certainly managers that want to fail, and he did fail along with a lot of other managers. Let me say, but I just think I think Nat was right, and this is coming from somebody that doesn't follow English football as much as we do, Darren, fair to say, that they should have made the change in December. And I just think it got to a point where it was so bad. All right, we couldn't see the injury coming in January, but we knew where we needed strengthening in January, and the board and the club did nothing about it. They brought in Conor Gallagher with the Brennan Johnson money. And now, I'm sorry, I know a few people didn't like Brennan Johnson. That decision to send him away seems ridiculous. Last season's top scorer, and you sell him right at the beginning of the window. I just don't get it. There's a few comments sticking up for Frank. Like Scott said here, he's put, Craig, what exactly did Frank want them to do? If somebody wants to answer that, I don't know, because it's fair comment. You know, Rick, do you want to jump in?
Backwards and sidewards, waste time. Play for throw-ins, free kicks and corners. and then totally devoid the team of playing football unless there's nothing to lose. That's what Frank did, to my knowledge.
You're talking about set pieces. I thought they were utterly abysmal. I thought Dragusin's long throws were just basically a throw-in, and nothing came of those long throws. Danzo came in, obviously, the last 5 minutes and took a couple of these. Well, there was one I can remember. But anyway, look, we'll come on to it. Tim, let's come round to you. 17 minutes, Pedro Porro fires over after a corner for Spurs. 19th minutes, Tete shoots wide for Fulham. 28 minutes, Vicario kicks it out of play. And 34 minutes, Iwobi scores a second for Fulham. Bad defending again. Talk us through this goal, this Iwobi goal, Tim.
It was like the Matrix. It went so slowly and obviously about what was going to happen. I had no idea how they didn't see it. So Iwobi plays it into the player on the edge of the box, and I think they
Harry Wilson, I think.
Yeah, Harry Wilson just holds it and then taps it back to him, literally like a 1-2, and you could see what was going to happen. Yeah, no one's covering that side. None of them. Look how many spare people there are on the edge of the box there, not pushing back. And you knew what was going to happen. Could Vic have got it? Maybe. It was actually, I mean, to be fair, it was a really good shot, but you could see it coming. And back to what possibly could have gone wrong in the past, I just think that he's micromanaged the team so much that they've forgotten how to play football. It's just like it's all digital, where they should be at any one time. It's all about the percentages. It's all about where it should be, rather than actually organically playing football. And those centre-backs there in that picture shuffling over to cover the box, which they always would have done. They've left it wide open from a free shots from 20 yards out with no one in the way of it, which seems patently ridiculous. I have no idea how.
Tim, sorry to jump in. You're mentioning about the players there and the coaching. Do you think that the players have got to take a serious amount of responsibility, though? Anyway, I mean, they are professional footballers, and
100%.
Should they need to be coached things like this?
No. I suppose the only get out I'm giving them is if they've been coached in such a way that's kind of, you must do this, you must do that. It kind of sucks the life out of you like it does the fans, and that's how it feels to me. That's not an excuse for professional players to be able to cover that position quite easily. That, as you see from that picture, he's taken a shot with no one in the way of it from 20 yards out. Now, is it Van der Ven who should be covering that position but doesn't, and whoever's in front of him?
Well, if you go back to if you go back to this, I think this is Javi Simmons in the most the bottommost Spurs player in this image.
Yeah,
I think what he was trying to do is he's trying to clearly get in there to track Iwobi because he can see where the danger is. There's a player behind him, a Fulham player. I think he was originally marking him. I don't think you can see it in the first image. Yes, you can. So there he is. So he's looking at him. Nobody's gone with Iwobi. Iwobi's played the 1-2 essentially, and Javi Simmons has seen the danger, and he can't get to him in time because nobody's covering. Now, have the players got to take responsibility?
They have, because Javi Simmons can't mark two players, which is what he's been asked to do there. Someone needs to cover over and see what was happening. Because I'm sure the other guys think it. They knew exactly what was going to happen as soon as that ball came in and Adobe's running forward. It was like it was going in slow motion. And absolutely, some of those players should have been covering. Certainly someone from midfield and certainly someone from central defence should not be allowing ever a shot from distance with no one in the way of the ball. It just seems patently ridiculous. So I think it's probably, if we're honest, it's probably a combination of both, right? One, the coaching they've had has been pretty poor, and two, they've got no confidence. They've almost forgotten how to play, and they're good players. Some of those are really good players. I mean, Mickey's a great defender, but he seems to be kind of emotional at the moment. He's not as considered as he was, and he's kind of playing on his wits, and he's not as good a player as he was, definitely, at the moment. So that goal sort of summed up Spurs for me. They're playing a low block. In a low block, how do you let someone have a free shot from 20 yards away and no one's in the way of the ball? None of that makes sense. So kind of.
I'll tell you what it
epitomises
could
the way
be,
Spurs are playing.
Tim. I'll tell you what it could be as well. It could be the hangover from, obviously, Thomas Frank actually felt that long shots, there was a very low percentage of long shots going in. So it could be the hangover from that.
Absolutely. And yet
but
you've let in tons of long shots in the season. Wow. Who'd have
But
thought that?
I do agree with Will here. Will, thanks for your comment. I agree with a lot of what Will says. Months of rotten coaching. I think it does come down to that. I do think that's a lot. You can blame it a lot on that. Well, yeah, that's Fulham 2-0 up. And let's be honest, Ricky, coming around to you, it could have been more, couldn't it? There was a Vicario save in the second half. I think we touched on, which we'll probably come on to. Yes, we will come on to that one because I thought that was a sensational save by Vicario. 38 minutes, Dragushin volleys over from a corner. I think he should have done better with that, but he was leaning back a bit. It's just one of the players you don't want to receive the ball in that area and have the chance, sadly. 45 minutes, Bassi shoots over for Fulham. And in that first half, Rick, 0 shots on target for Spurs and 0 through balls. What were you thinking at that point? And I didn't even notice that till I read the stats that Spurs had played 0 through balls. And that is a problem in itself, isn't it?
Again, no, hangover, because we haven't played through balls all season, you know? So it's... But at that point, Craig, I had my head in my hands and I was just like, I thought it was over, if I was honest. Like, I thought, well, this is it then. This is how we're going to go down. Like, this is how we're going to crumble, you know? I was fuming, mate. And I needed to see some type of reaction in that second half. I needed to see them come out and do something. I needed to see something from Tottenham. And you know what? You got to give it to Tudor as well because he didn't make. I mean, Sousa was a late substitution, Craig, but the majority of them happened on like 55 minutes. And how many times have we seen subs come on, but come on too late to get into the game? At least that was a positive sign as well that he made early changes and went, no, all right, cool, I've had enough now, you know. But yeah, bro, I was devastated, to be fair, at the end of that first half, and the way that we underperformed or performed as per usual. You know, I didn't see the response that I needed to see. I didn't see them go out there and play any type of football with any type of confidence. But these boys have been drained. They have been killed in that sense. They have been heartbroken, bro. And that's another thing, you know, you look at some of the players, and Romero being one of them, but you look at some of the players that feel like they've almost been lied to by the club as well. Now, we feel that we've been lied to by the club as fans and supporters, but some of them players feel that too. Some of them were promised something, you know, like high investment within the squad, or we're going to go for this, or we're going to go here, or we're going to build on the good things that we've created, or we're going to carry on playing front-footed football. And then you bring in a coach that you know, sucks all the life out of it. I mean, and we are going to move on from Frank because we have to, but, you know, under him, we went to Brentford and we was holding on for a 0-0 draw, Craig. I mean, and time wasting for it. I mean, what is going on here? You know, every single side that we went up against we were the underdogs. And that's how we were set up. And that's how we were coached. We believed that everybody else was bigger and better than us. We had to worry about all of their weapons while not addressing ours, because we hardly played football. It was only when we was 2-0 down and the shackles were off and it was like, go on in, boys. Go on, do what you want to do. And then we saw a fight back. Then we saw a bit of football being played. We have seen flashes of it. We know that it can happen, but the boys are devoid. And I thought that was it at the end of that first half. I'm just happy to see the reaction in the second after the subs came on, mate.
We've said it before, and I'm repeating myself, but on a very, very basic, just the basic level, you've got players there that aren't playing in their natural positions. Sousa, we brought him as a left back. He's on the bench, and Archie Gray's playing left back. Why? Tell is a number 10, a creative midfielder. He should be in the 10 position, not on the left, and Tell's on the bench. So I keep on saying, am I saying Xavi? I keep on saying Tell. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know what's up with me today. Xavi's a creative midfielder, a number 10. He's playing on the left, and Tell's on the bench. Just play players in their natural position and you've got balance. I don't understand. I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself. I don't understand why he's leaving players on the bench and plugging holes and mismatching when you've got players playing out of position. Play players in their natural position, and you've got balance. What's Tell doing on the bench and Xavi doing on the left, and Archie Gray doing at a left back, and Sousa doing on the bench? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Just play players in their natural position, and you've got a natural balance, and then build from there, for crying out loud. So is this too simplistic? Is this too simplistic?
No, but also, Daz, it's like it's been a common theme of the season as well, where we've had players, and this is not under Tudor. Tudor's been here this is his second game, but where we've had players that have started to perform in their natural position, and then straight away have been taken out. You know, every time that Tell's come on the left and performed and got a goal from outside the box or had a shot, 2 games in and then he's taken out. At the beginning of the season, Sarr started on fire. We was quick to take him out. Every single time that we have a player that is doing something well over the season, we've taken him out. Now it's more important. It is vital that those players that are showing that they're up for the fight, but they're brave enough to take the fight to whichever team that we're playing against. We have to start them. I can understand the apprehension behind Sousa. He's just come over from Brazil. He's 19, yada yada. But if they're good enough, you got to play them. And I'm with you, Daz, as well, because you look at the balance of the side. As soon as he came on, all right, he might be naive in certain situations, but then you've got Mickey to back him up. All right, look after him, Mickey. If he misses a tackle, look after him, Mix. But the majority of the time, let's see what he can do. And he was good at dribbling. He was good at taking on players one-on-one, and he was good at putting crosses into the box in Brazil. He's highly rated. At this point, beggars can't be choosers. I'm with you, Daz. For the sake of balance, play him. But at the same time, we need players in there that want to that are not fearful of the shirt and they're not fearful of the fight. And there's only a few of those, And we saw him today.
Someone, whether it was Langer or whoever, spotted Sousa as a left back, a talent. We bought him. He's been training with the team. He understands Igor's ethos. So play the bleeding. If we haven't got, if Udogie and Spence are injured, bloody play this guy. Don't play Gray as a left back. He got caught out quite a few times. Balls were going over his head. Bless him. It's not a criticism of him. It's not his natural position.
No, it's tough. He's tough, Darren. You're right. Well, Darren, stay with you, actually. 50 minutes, Oscar Bob Robs.
I was going to say, give Tim. Tim's standing there. I'm bored of my own voice. Give Tim this one.
I was going to give you the Spurs goal, but no, don't worry about it, Darren.
Yeah, give me
Oscar. Yeah. Also, well, a few things. We had Fulham nearly actually get a third and fourth. Yes. Actually, Oscar Bob robbed Paulinho, of course. Passes to Smith Rowe, fired wide. 54 minutes, Randall Colomwani goes to ground so easily again. In fact, just touch on Randall Colomwani. What did you make of his performance today, Tim? Because I wasn't that impressed.
No, I think he put a lot of effort in, but I think he was too weak. I can't remember the name of the centre-back now. But he bullied him all day. Like I said at the beginning, they had it the wrong way around. Solanke should have been up against him. He's a much stronger player. And Colomwani would be much better playing off him, as like an inside forward or something else. Need to be a bit thoughtful about that. But yeah, he was going down too easy, and he didn't know how to play him. Didn't know how to play that centre back at all, and he was just bullying him all day. In the end, he almost gave up, to be honest with you. So it was no point in having him there, really. The problem is Tudor obviously likes him. He likes him as a player, so he's going to keep playing him. And I think that could be problematic. I don't know.
Yeah. I just didn't think he. I think he spent more time on the floor today, to be honest, than on his feet.
Yeah, moaning about it. It was kind of a bit defeatist, really. It was just, oh man, can we go back to the school play? He was like the crying child in the corner, just pissed their pants. He felt a bit like that because he just kept putting his arms up and complaining the whole time. But have you gone on to that save yet, where it should have gone 3-0? Was it
Well, that was on 62 minutes. Yeah, 62 minutes, Tim. Great save by Vicario, written down here, from Smith Rowe. He was totally unmarked, by the way, Smith Rowe. I mean, he should have probably
unbelievable
scored,
amount of space, and he should have scored. I mean, Vic makes me so bloody nervous. God knows what his centre-backs feel like, or is because he just makes me nervous every time he touches the ball. He's really, really bad at playing out. His touch just seems to be terrible, but he's a really, really good shot stopper. And he did an amazing job there because I think Smith Rowe tried to clip it over him and he just put a hand up and knocked it down. So every now and then he comes up with a miraculous save to keep us in the game. And that kept us in the game. But how the hell did he have that much space? I mean, we're talking, I think, probably 20 yards. There was no one even close to him. And he should have scored. Yeah. So good for Vic. I'll moan about Vic till the day he leaves, which will probably be in the summer. But he's a good shot stopper. I'll give him that.
Well, come on. As you requested it, Tim, Richarlison got us a goal back. Good work by Tell. Puts in Gray, who crosses to Richie, who heads home. I thought this was probably the best move for Spurs on the day.
It
probably
was,
the only one. But yeah, what did you make of this goal?
Well, firstly, I think Tell had played really well. His control was really good down the left because he kept kind of dragging the right back in and back out again, stopping and starting. So it was quite tricksy. I like that. And as far as I remember, he kind of flicked it back towards left back Sousa, yeah, who kind of chipped it over. And it was like, I could have scored that one in 1986. It was that easy. But good for Richie to be there on the back post and knock it in. But it shows you that if we're not just hoofing the ball up and hoping for a flick on and actually play some football and give these, particularly the young ones, a chance to play, it was in the box to do it. So
it was Archie Gray that crossed it, by the way.
Was it Archie? Sorry, yeah, I do apologise. Yeah, it was Archie who actually did really well at that point, because at that point is he playing left back or is he playing midfield? I'm lost to where we were at that point. But to be fair,
Sousa only came on just after that, I think. Actually.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So really good cross from his point. Beautiful little chip, and then Richie on the back stick. Really good move. Let the young players express themselves and see what you get, rather than this horseshoe rubbish that's been going on all season, really. So that brought us back in the game. I'd like to know how many of you guys felt the same, though, which is I'm to the point in the season where I wasn't even particularly hopeful that we'd win that game. Not that I didn't want us to win the game. I just didn't think we would, because too many false storms, really. Although it's like, okay, we scored, rather than jumping up and down. Right, boys, another 10 minutes. I just never thought we had it in us to get anything more, really. But to be fair, good goal, well played. And, what more do you want to do with that?
Did you think, Rick, that we was getting back into that game at that point?
Well, it gave him a spark. I'm with Tim in that sense, where that the first goal, it was a yes, but it wasn't a cheer, because we still had work to do. But after that, it did create a spark. There was a bit of belief. There was a couple of passes that we strung together. Then we was attacking their box. We was causing threats. Tell became a danger on that left-hand side. They didn't know what to do with him. And it just shows you, I mean, it's baffling how he hasn't got any more time this year. But it just shows you what a left footer and a tricky, young, enthusiastic player that wants to earn his shirt can do once you give him a go. So I did think that we was on our way to getting back in, and that's what I needed. I mean, me being I was still broken at that point. I was happy that we scored, but I was still broken at that point, a bit like Tim in that. So, like, part of me is like, is this false hope? Is this a false kind of sense of we're going to get back in? But the reaction from the boys was there.
Yeah. Well, I thought we were going to perhaps push for that second. Well, we were trying, weren't we? 80 minutes, Sousa came on for Bissouma. 84th minute, another long throw by Dragusin that wasn't a long throw, that comes to nothing. 89 minutes, Sarr hits the post, side netting, after a cross by Sousa. I should have said, actually, I totally skimmed over it. 58th minute, Richarlison, Tell and Saab were on for Gallagher, Koulibaly and Simmons. We touched on that earlier when we said that we all thought Simmons should have stayed on. 90 minutes, Danzo on for Dragushin. A few chances for Spurs in the closing moments, but Spurs ultimately lose again. So it's on to Thursday and it's on to Crystal Palace. Darren, come round to you. How can you see this game going? This is surely a must-win for Tottenham Thursday.
Yeah, but with all due respect, mate, today was a must-win. I know we were away, but by the way, I just want to say something because I'm going back, but Porro, and I know he's just come back, these long speculative hoofing balls in the box where he just kicks it vaguely and hopes someone's there. Oh, the amount of times he did that today, I'm sorry, I'm going backwards. That frustrated me. That's not how you play football, just long balling it into the box. Sorry, I had to get that off my chest. That was frustrating today. And that's got nothing to do with him like finding his form. That's a decision. That's a decision that he's making, hoofing it into the box and trying to land on someone's head. Well, as soon as the ball's in the air, that's 50-50. Sorry, I just had to say that. Of course, yes, it's a must-win game. We're at home, and as Tim sort of like half jokingly said, Fortress Tottenham, as we're back to Fortress Tottenham, aren't we?
And it doesn't even warrant me reading out stats about how well or how badly Spurs or Palace have done at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium or White Hart Lane, because it means nothing. This is the one-off game. They're all like cup finals now. We simply have to win on Thursday.
100%. 100%. I don't know what I can say. We just need to. I don't know how he's going to do it. I hope he learns from today. I hope that Simmons starts in the middle. We get some creativity. I hope that we get players playing in their positions. I think that Tell showed enough today when he came on, like you say, to beat players and to get crosses in, to warrant a start on the left. I think that Sousa in the 10 minutes that he had probably warrants a start. I don't see why you'd want to play Gray there. We just have to get something. We have to get something. We have to get 3 points because this whole thing about relying on other teams to lose yesterday went as well as it could. By the way, it was absolutely, it went as well as it. I mean, someone was looking down on us yesterday. Could we capitalize on that? No, we bleeding couldn't. So let's just we're at home. We're at home, and let's just get the first goal, because you know what Spurs fans like. We'll get a goal against us. We'll hear a chorus of "Come on, you Spurs" out of frustration more than anything, and then God knows what's going to happen. So we need the first goal. We need the first goal. If we don't get a first goal, God knows. I
think you make a really good point about the fans, and I think this is going to be a key point now, because I personally think we need to stop the booing and getting on the players' back. If that's gone now until the last day of the season, fine, last day of the season, give them a bit of heat if you want, but we need to be fully behind the team for the next however many home games, 5, 6, don't know, 5.
Yeah.
And if we want them to give their best, then we need to give our best too. And that's hard to do sometimes, right? That's really hard to do when it's poor. The football is poor. But if the fans make it their mission to go, right, we're just gonna push this as hard as we can, be the 12th man and do it. I just worry that the boo boys will be out, and I think that will make life even more worse than it already is. It's an easy thing to do to boo. I never have, and if you choose to, then fine. But I think you're doing, at this point with Spurs, you're doing us a huge disservice if you get on all the players' backs. Let them play and support them. I just hope Igor, with another few days of training, has got a few more things sorted out and plays people in their position, and that Palace have got a hangover from this weekend because they didn't do too well, and see where it takes us. Who knows?
Tim, is it a case? I mean, I know we say every game's a must win, but there's obviously a fairly big break in the Premier League for us between Palace and then we've got Liverpool away. It's almost paramount we get something out of that Palace game, because then you've got this trip to Anfield coming up, sandwich, and there's trips to Atletico Madrid, in between the two Premier League games, the Palace and Liverpool game, of course. So it's almost like the Champions League is secondary, and that's the frustration for me. In a season where we should have been looking forward to these Champions League games, it's almost like something that's now in the back of my mind. And, we're actually in the Champions League still, but we're all thinking, crap, we're not going to be in the Premier League next year. And this is where they've got to step up now. If we get a result at Palace, it is. They need a win at Palace.
I think, is it at home? It is at home, isn't it? Yeah.
Sorry, at home, against Palace, I should have said,
We have to get something out of that game. And not just a win, but a half decent performance. And I'm not talking about glorious, beautiful football we all want to see, but a good, solid, few shots on target, passes in the right place, a little bit of confidence, a little bit of spraying the ball about, some hard tackling, like a good, solid performance. Because you're right, if we get nothing out of that game, we've got a few weeks till the Liverpool away, which would not bode well because they're playing pretty good at home. And then what? In theory, we could be in the relegation zone at that point. If we lose those two games, we could be in the relegation zone. If that silly bunch from East London manage to get their shit together, then if they manage to blow their bubbles in the right direction, then we're in trouble. So I know we talk about things are a must win. That we need to get something out of that game. We need something out of that game. Even if it's
we can't lose. We can't lose.
No, because I think, although we're 5 points above, I think we've got a decent goal difference better. So if we get a point, we are 2 wins above them. How pathetic am I talking in terms of that? That's what I'm thinking about. I'm feeling frankish in the minor details. But I think just as much as getting something out of the game, it has to be a decent performance. Doesn't have to be skill, but has to be solid, and that they're trying, and that something happens out of that to bring us on to the next Premier League. Because I'm not even thinking about the Champions League, to be honest with you. I don't give a toss about the Champions League.
We are actually 4 points above West Ham, Tim. So I think it's
we have to win.
So we've got to win. Ricky, coming round to you to close the show. Give us a bit of hope for Thursday.
You know what? Like I said, there was a bit of fight in that second half, and if we can muster that, if we can harness that, if we can come together and actually play like Tottenham Hotspur, then we can do this. None of these results, none of these teams that we're facing, I don't think it's an impossible challenge. I think we're in the advantage right now with the amount of points. You said 4, the amount of points that we've got. Results did go our way, but it's about those, for me. It's about those that you see showing for that shirt, that are playing in this scenario and that are fighting left, right, and centre. You start playing those that start showing some form, start making a difference in the game. You start to build on the good things will happen. But we really do need to take it to Palace again. And we, like the gents have said, we do need to get something out of it. To be fair to the fans, the away fans today, I thought were immense. I thought once we got a goal up, the whole way through the game, to be fair, they cheered them on and they tried to get them up. They know what we're going through, especially the away fans. They see it, they experience it. And, Chris was a part of it as well. And he was in that crowd today. And it's emotional when you're in there. You literally, we feel it at home, but we can go and make a cup of tea. Those that are at the away grounds have got to travel with that energy, either on a train or in that car for 3-4 hours on the way home, stuck in traffic, feeling as frustrated as we are. And those boys today, those fans today, they sung up and they kept them going up until that 96th, 97th minute against the Gooners. we were cheering and we were hissing and we were whistling every time the Gooners had the ball, and every time that we made a challenge, we cheered them on. We tried to pick them up. And like Tim's saying there, the more we can do that, because this is where we're at now, and this is our mission as supporters. And if you're lucky enough to be in the, I say lucky, but you know what I mean. But if you're lucky enough to be in the stadium and to support the boys live, then that's the mission at hand. That is the mission at hand. You know, keep it going, because that's the role now. It's the role of us supporters now. We have to support the boys and keep them going, keep them lifted, because I saw their hearts and their heads break today, and I just hope it ain't permanent. You know, I hope they haven't lost the faith. I did at one point, but I hope they haven't, because that second, you know, that little period, that half an hour in the second half where the subs came on, we did see a difference. We did see a fight. We did see that they care. We did see them in pain. We did see them hurting. So, all right, there's enough in there. There's enough gumption in there. There's enough fight in there to go and find your spirit and to not be afraid anymore and to go and get the job done. But we got to start on Thursday. We got to start against Palace. And I'm sure Tim, Daz, Craig, I'm sure all the boys that are in that, all the fans, supporters that are in that stadium that night are going to roar the boys on, and they're going to give them a reception. And whoever starts in that starting lineup, they're going to be cheering on, because we're in a different situation right now. So we've got no choice. There ain't no transfers for us. There ain't no loans for us. We can't go on loan to another club. It doesn't work for us. We're here. They're our team. But you know, they do belong to us in that sense. We do fight for them every day. Yes, we take the ridicule, but yes, we'll stand up for them all day, every day. We've done it for each one of our plays, and we've done it for each one of these scenarios. We've been here before. We'll get out. We've been here before. We've had dark times before, but the glory is just on the horizon. But we got to get through this, and we got to get through this like Daniel Bedingfield. We got to get through this to the other side and to the light and to a winning state, so we can build some momentum and get some good things going. But building the good things, because there are some in that squad. There is quality in that squad. There is. We just need them in, like everybody here on the panel said tonight, we need them in the right positions. We need the right players playing in the right positions. Those that are not up for the fight, no worries. Be on the bench and we'll use you when it's time to use you. But we're starting to see who wants it. So we got to build on that.
I think that's key, Rick, that we're going to see who wants it over the next few weeks. Hopefully in 4 to 6 weeks' time, we're going to, Spurs are going to be safe, and we can actually look forward to the summer and the World Cup and forget about Spurs for a little while. That would be nice. Well, I hate having to look at other teams who they're playing, but it's a situation we're in at the moment. Leeds have got Sunderland at Elland Road on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, the teams in and around us. Forest are away to Manchester City, and West Ham are away to Fulham. So that's going to be an interesting set of fixtures on Wednesday. But as Darren said, we're at a point now where we're hoping other teams do us a favour to a degree as well. But it's still in our hands. We can still do it. We can still get out of it. Chaps, thanks so much for coming back and talking about another loss. Really, really not what we all want to be doing, but it is what it is. We have to keep going and talk about these things. I hope it's been cathartic for everybody. Darren, thanks so much for jumping in. We had an injury of our own, an injury of our own to Gary. Couldn't make it quite today, Gary. I hope you're feeling well. Darren, thanks for coming back. What are you up to at the moment, and where can we find you?
Yeah, you can find me on OnlyFans, Craig, dancing for tips.
For what?
For tips.
Oh,
I misheard that too.
Yeah, so please do find me on there. I will, I'll take photos of, like my feet and send them to you. So please just find me on there. I've got a family to support.
And a football club.
Can you twerk, Daz?
Oh, whistle while you twerk.
Nobody wants to see that, I'm sure. Tim, thanks so much for coming back. Where can people find you?
Well, I've got a live radio show in 7 o'clock GMT, If you want to listen to me, it's on the faceradio.com in Brooklyn and totallywidradio.com in London. If you fancy chilling a bit to a bit of soul and jazz and funk and acid jazz, just to make you feel slightly better than you do today. And you can find me on Instagram on Tim J Spurrier. All the links are on there. So I'm doing that in about half an hour, just to forget about Spurs for 2 hours.
Lovely. Thanks, Tim. Well, enjoy that. And finally, Rick, thanks for coming back on. Where can people find you?
You guys know where you can find me. On X, you can find me at Ricky J Norwood. On Instagram, you can find me at official Ricky Norwood. That's where you'll see most of my work and acting stuff and presenting stuff and all of that jazz. That's on there. But episode 10, the latest episode, is just dropped on T-Talk and Tottenham. So if you all chuck it in one word into YouTube, you can find me and my brother, Darren Hart, going on about the world of Tottenham. A few more rants. But yeah, you can do that. But also, I just want to send some love out to Chris as well, that I know he's chucking back from Fulham right now. You know what? The one thing that guy does is love this club, man. He absolutely loves this club. From he goes to every single game that he can go to, and you know, he supports the club through thick and thin. And it's emotional times, it's dark times, and it affects us all. So, Chris, I know you're traveling back, brother. I hope you're not in too much traffic. Get home safe, and I look forward to being with you and all of these wonderful people around the world again on the next stream. Yeah, there will be brighter days ahead.
We all need to send love to Chris, because without him, we haven't got this beautiful channel, right?
Absolutely, man.
This beautiful channel. We love Chris. So yeah.
Sending big love, Chris. We'll see you on the next stream, my friend.
Don't
worry, be happy, man. Don't worry, be happy. There'll be brighter days. Let's have it. Let's go.
So Craig's dropped out.
So is this it?
He had enough.
We had enough. He can't log us off, so we're here now.
We're just here to check. Well, we've got the OnlyFans and team. Ricky, I love the tea and Tottenham thing. It's really cool.
Oh, thank you,
I watch it, man. It's very cool. Nice and chilled. A chilled rant. I like a chilled rant.
Yeah, it's basically an excuse for me to kind of just rant with my brother, and my brother rant with me, bro. So it's one of those, you know. It's just an excuse for me and him to hang out for a bit, because life is so nuts. But yeah, we film it and we put it out there, so it is a good one. I just want
to say, I want my Tottenham back, because we haven't seen our Tottenham for a season. I want my Tottenham back. I want to see the football being played a certain way. I want to see the fans excited. We haven't seen that. I just want my club back. I've never felt so bereft as I do. I cannot, and I've said it before on here and on our little group, when we were in May together, you know, after that, crying like little schoolboys after the win, and Craig and I and Gary running on the pitch, you know, at Tottenham. We were meant to kick on from that, and we haven't kicked on. We've gone down and down and down, and it's so upsetting. It's heartbreaking. I want our club back. I want us to stay up by hook or by crook and go again. And I honestly,
we will, bruv.
I think that's what will happen, Darren. We will stay up by hook or by crook, and the summer will be beautiful, and next year will be even better.
We're spending 500 mil in the summer, mate. We're spending 500 mil.
Yeah.
Well, typically, like in Spurs fashion, my internet just went down right at the critical moment. So I do apologise. Everything's gone wrong today.
Yeah.
Chris, Craig, did you see the twerking when it went off? Could we all?
No.
Oh, I think that's probably what made it go off, Darren. I don't know, but it probably could have been.
Okay. But parental controls knocked in.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks to you three guys for coming back on another difficult day. But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you on the next one. As always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on.